Today, we will be talking about the muscular system as well as a particular muscular disorder called myasthenia gravis. The muscular system plays a large role in the function of the human body, and it is made up of specialized cells called fibers and 3 different types of muscle tissue: smooth, skeletal, and cardiac. The main purpose of the muscular system is to provide the movement of the body and to maintain its posture. There are over 700 different types of muscles that make up the muscular system. Our 3 different types of muscle tissue are cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, and smooth muscle. Cardiac muscle is found only in the heart. Skeletal muscle is found attaching itself to bones, and smooth muscle lines the visceral organs of the body. Each of these muscles plays a role in the movement of the body, including substances and blood. Our first muscle is the skeletal muscle, which causes contractions to move parts of the body closer to the bone to allow movement. This muscle is made up of myofibrils, endomysium, paramysium, and epimysium, which attach itself to bone. This is our only voluntary muscle throughout the body, meaning that our conscious mind controls it, and it is not controlled by our unconscious mind. Our next muscle is the smooth muscle, which is found in visceral organs, such as your uterus, your urinary bladder, your respiratory tract, and your blood vessels. This muscle makes organs contract to move substances throughout the body, such as blood or water or those kind of substances. This muscle is involuntary, meaning that our unconscious mind controls it and we cannot control it consciously. Lastly, our muscle is the cardiac muscle. This muscle is found only in the heart, and its job is to pump blood throughout your circulatory system. This muscle is also involuntary, meaning that our unconscious mind controls its movements. The cardiac muscle is composed of individual heart muscle cells called cardiomyocytes that are joined together in discs encased by collagen fibers. Next, we will be talking about the history of myasthenia gravis.
The known history of myasthenia gravis goes back to the 17th century, and the first known case was that of Native American chief Opechancanough. The following description was written by Virginian historians. The excessive fatigue he encountered wrecked his constitution. His flesh became macerated, his sinews lost their tone and elasticity, and his eyelids were so heavy that he could not see unless they were lifted up by his attendants. He was unable to walk. He died in 1664. But the disorder did not actually get its name until the late 1800s, when the first modern accounts were published. And still yet, attempts at medical treatment did not begin until the 1930s, both when physostigmine and total removal of the thymus organ were shown to cause improvement. Finally, in 1973, a study on rabbits established immunosuppressants as a viable treatment. Today, myasthenia gravis is a rare disorder. Its frequency in the U.S. is 14 to 20 cases per 100,000 people, and the total number of cases is between 36,000 and 60,000. But its rarity does not take away from its gravity. Those afflicted are greatly limited in many aspects of their day-to-day lives, and although there are various treatments, there are no known cures.
Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune neuromuscular disease, which means that the body's immune system attacks itself. This is caused by 2 things. The first thing that causes myasthenia gravis is a miscommunication between the nerves and the muscles, or in other words, an interruption at the neurotransmitter junction. The second thing that causes myasthenia gravis is the thymus gland. Usually the thymus gland shrinks and disappears after puberty, but in some cases it can remain large. When the thymus gland stays large, it can result in a tumor, which then misinforms the immune system, causing it to attack itself. Some of the symptoms include weakness in the mouth, body, and eyes. For example, weakness in the mouth can result in trouble swallowing and chewing, and in some cases even breathing. Weakness in the body includes arms and legs, and then weakness in the eyes can involve drooping and blurred vision. Effects this has on lifestyles includes normal tasks such as getting ready for the day. An example of this is sitting in the shower rather than standing so you don't get tired doing other things. Eating smaller and softer foods so your mouth doesn't get tired or sore. and also exercising too much or too hard can complicate other smaller tasks throughout the day. People who live with myasthenia gravis do not need to think it's going to prevent them from living a full life. People should just plan their day out carefully and think about how much they need to do so they don't get worn out. For instance, if someone has to go to the store, they can think about using an electric cart rather than pushing a cart to save energy.
I wasn't able to really walk. I wasn't able to wash my hair. I wasn't able to eat or to chew. So it had a really bad impact while I was sick.
I first got bad symptoms when I was 16, and I was...
So next we're going to talk about treatments for myasthenia gravis, and treatment effectiveness depends on the type of the patient, but this treatment can be expensive and have dangerous side effects such as blood clots. So the first type of treatments include medications such as immunosuppressants like the corticosteroids, which suppress the immune system's activity so that autoimmune response is decreased. Another type of medicine is cholinesterase inhibitors, which decrease the muscle's contraction abilities by breaking down that acetylcholine neurotransmitter so that the action potential is interrupted. Another treatment method includes a thymectomy, which is removing the thymus gland surgically, and a picture of this thymus gland is to the left. Plasmapheresis is another type of treatment which replaces the patient's blood with donor blood to decrease the antibodies in their blood and therefore decrease that autoimmune response. The last type of treatment method is intravenous immunoglobulin protein infusion, which weakens the immune system's strength to reduce the body's autoimmune response once again. And this is a picture of an IV treatment to the right of the slide. Now, this disease can be improved but not cured through a healthy lifestyle, including a high potassium diet, avoiding high amounts of heat, reducing muscular overexertion, and following the doctor's medication recommendations. Now, the goal of these treatments is to improve the symptoms and the severity of the disorder. In rare cases, patients can go into remission, but overall the disorder has no official cure. In addition, myasthenia gravis is a disorder that can be unique to the patient who has it, and therefore the treatment options differ among patients. So we're going to talk about relevance for myasthenia gravis, specifically in college life. So if a college student is physically impaired, this could cause physical and mental exhaustion that could interfere with their ability to stay awake or be motivated for school. In addition, vision issues associated can impair the student's ability to see well in class, so they're going to have some schoolwork or learning interferences. Next, their physical activity would be affected because their muscle weakness would make it really difficult for them to walk to class efficiently or to engage in sports activities. And myasthenia gravis affects one's chewing ability, which could cause the college student difficulty eating at dining halls and consequently social distress when eating in public. And last, if the patient's body is too weak to engage in social activities or interactions, they could encounter an unlively social life. So myasthenia gravis can be very debilitating in multiple facets of someone's life. But there are treatments to decrease the symptoms and the severity, but not an official cure for this disease.